Good evening. I'd like to welcome you to the City of Lenoir City Council meeting for Tuesday, April 16th, 2019. We welcome you here this evening. And as we normally do when we get started, we will rise in just a minute for a moment of silence. We'll remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to our country. Before we do that, I would like for you to keep some people in your thoughts and prayers. We would like for you to think about the family of Mr. Lewis Price. Mr. Price's wife, Carol, passed away last Friday and had the service today at First Baptist Church in Lenoir for her. And it was a very beautiful service. And anyway, if you would, please keep Lewis and all of his family in your thoughts and prayers over the coming days. Lewis, you know, a former manager here for many, many years and on the city council and a longtime resident of Lenoir. And so we're very sad for their family as they go through that. But please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Now, please join me. We'll remain standing for our moment of silence. Thank you. Please salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight, our first order of business is we have a proclamation to honor and recognize our national linemen, and this is National Lineman Appreciation Day and month for supporting and remembering our linemen who do so many great things for us. And we have Duke Energy and Blue Ridge Electric representatives here tonight, and I'm going to ask them to come forward and present this proclamation. Scott Dewey from Blue Ridge Electric is here to represent them, and Robin Nicholson, our district manager from Duke Energy. Thank you all for being here. And I'd like to read this and present to you. In honor and recognition of National Lineman Appreciation Day, whereas linemen are often first responders during storms and other catastrophic events, working to make the scene safe for other public safety heroes. And whereas linemen work with thousands of volts of electricity high atop power lines 24 hours a day, 365 days a year to keep electricity flowing. And whereas linemen must often work under dangerous conditions, far from their families, to construct and maintain the energy infrastructure of the United States. And whereas linemen put their lives on the line every day with little recognition from the community regarding the danger of their work. And whereas the City of Lenoir further recognizes and honors the significant and dangerous work of all of the dedicated line work support personnel, engineering staff, work management group, and vegetation management tree crews. Now, therefore, I, as mayor of the City of Lenoir, on behalf of the Lenoir City Council, do hereby proclaim Thursday, April 18, 2019, as National Lineman Appreciation Day throughout the city of Lenoir and Caldwell County, and urge all citizens to thank the linemen and supporting staff of Blue Ridge Energy and Duke Energy for all they do for our citizens that enables us to enjoy health, safety, and comfort and quality of life every day. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Lenoir to be affixed this the 16th day of April 2019. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Here's one. Thank you. If you could get a picture together.
All right, open them up. Show me the
Okay,
combinations.
all right.
Amen. 1, 2, 3.
I'm not in the shot.
Thank you very much. Both are dressed, you certainly can.
You go ahead.
I would just like to say thank you on behalf of all the Duke Energy linemen who schedules are a bit askew after this past Sunday evening and Monday, doing a good bit of storm restoration work. But they do appreciate you thinking of them. So on behalf of all the Duke Energy linemen, all the support personnel who help keep our linemen active and safe, all of the contractors that we work with, our municipality and co-op neighbors and friends who are great partners to us, thank you so much for recognizing our linemen at this event.
Thank you. Thank you, Robin.
I won't be near as smooth or as polished as her, but I'd like to express Blue Ridge's thanks to you and also to the firefighters and EMS and police officers that always help us to close the roads and keep us safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Scott, for being with us. We certainly appreciate our relationships with both Duke Energy and Blue Ridge Electric for all you do. Thank you for always keeping us in power whenever we call. And, it's usually in very stressful times. And I know that you always try to do it as fast as you can and get it back on and keep people from having to be without that for as short a period as possible. So we do appreciate all you do. Thank you very much for working together and being a great part of Lenoir and Caldwell County. We appreciate it. Okay, now I'm going to introduce Mr. Michael Unruh. He's the Communications and Resources for the Charters of Freedom. This is Foundation Forward, and tonight we'll be hearing a report to the council on the Charters of Freedom that will be installed at the Caldwell County Courthouse here in downtown Lenoir. The term Charters of Freedom is used to describe the three documents in our early American history, of course, which are considered instrumental in our founding and our philosophies that we go by. These documents are the United States Declaration of Independence, the United States Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. Foundation Forward is a nonprofit educational Project 501c3 that builds the Charters of Freedom.
Forward. We're history.
And settings in local, they're getting me to shut up, settings in local communities across the country. So, Michael, welcome. Thank you for choosing our community or being a part of bringing this to our community in Lenoir and Caldwell County.
Thank you very much, Mayor Gibbons. We are excited to be here in Lenoir and Caldwell County. It's been a long time coming, and we're glad to see that it is finally going to happen. If you have been over at the site, which is in front of the historic Caldwell County Courthouse, you've seen that the sod has been removed. There's some caution tape around it. We had a steering committee meeting about a month ago, I believe it was around March 21st, where we discussed that we were working with many different businesses and suppliers in the community. Statesville Brick has been kind enough to donate all of the brick for the setting. We've had Vision Design Build with Cody Bird, who has donated all of the lumber as well as the rebar ties and some other materials. And we are working with a couple of the concrete companies to see about getting those materials donated as well. Now, whether we have all of the materials donated or not, when it is time for this project to start, which will be in the next couple of weeks, we will, out of our pockets and through our founder, Vance Patterson, we will donate any materials that are lacking and get this done. One very exciting piece of information that I'm happy to report is that we met with Dr. Phipps, superintendent, and all of the masonry instructors from each of the local high schools that have masonry programs. I believe that is South Caldwell, West Caldwell, and High Brighton. And their students are going to build the setting. They will be starting between now and May 6th. We're going to get the concrete foundation poured, and then their masonry students will be putting all of the brick around it, as well as helping us to put the capstones and documents in place. And so this will be the first of its kind in the United States to have students from the community build the setting that is going to the students and veterans and citizens of the community. So we're very excited about that for Caldwell County.
Yes, very much so.
Just for the folks who may not know about the program, it's in its entirety. I do have a 4-minute video that I would like to present, And then if there are any questions afterwards, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you.
History meets the future. Those who are fortunate enough and have the time can see their charters of freedom in Washington, D.C. However, most will never see these original documents. Vance and Mary Jo Patterson took that experience and in January 2013 set up Foundation Forward, an educational nonprofit.
From the beginning, this has been an educational project. Our founding fathers believed that in order to have a free and independent country, you must understand how government works, that you cannot control what you do not understand. And that's the purpose of Foundation Forward, to educate our students and preserve the history of our country, of our founding fathers, the story behind these founding documents, and what it took to bring these amazing ideals to reality. There are 3,142 counties, boroughs, parishes, independent cities, census zones, and the District of Columbia in the United States. Our goal as a foundation is to place charters of freedom settings in as many of those communities as possible over the next 10 years. Once these settings are in place, we don't just leave. We begin our community outreach and other meaningful educational projects. Imagine, if you will, teachers bringing their 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students on annual field trips to their charters of freedom settings, where they'll spend time learning about the founding documents, about the founding fathers, they'll learn how government is meant to operate, and about their state and local government, and local heroes. In addition, we've begun producing a Broadway quality production of 1776 the musical, taking it into communities, offering it as a gift to the students. Last year, we invited the entire school system in Charlotte, North Carolina, free of charge from Foundation Forward, and we had over 1,100 tickets disappear overnight. It was an incredible performance, but what really struck home was towards the end of the play, when the representative from Georgia was on stage. He walked over and slid Georgia's name over to vote for the Declaration of Independence. The kids just went crazy. And it was at that moment I knew that these kids had actually taken ownership of their American history, perhaps for the first time in their lives. And it was an incredible feeling, an amazing experience for all involved. Our hope is they took that experience back to their classrooms for in-depth discussions, and that they took it home and told their families about it, to make their families want to go down to their charters of freedom settings, creating a life experience, sharing that feeling, and their new appreciation for American history. It's through these efforts, by placing these documents in permanent proper settings in local communities across our country, combined with the meaningful civic education programs, the site visits, and the Broadway quality production of 1776, that we believe we are helping to preserve the history of our country, the democratic form of our republic, so that future generations will have and understand the rights and liberties our founding fathers intended. Our hope is that our future leaders will come from communities where they have their own charters of freedom settings, that your children will no longer grow up talking about the Constitution and Bill of Rights in Washington, but they'll be talking about their Constitution and their Bill of Rights, the ones they grew up with right in their home community.
After one visit, these grade school children will know more about our history and government than most of the people in the United States. If your community is fortunate enough to have been selected to receive a gift of the Charters of Freedom setting, then that means the funding is in place. Funding that involves no tax dollars. Foundation Forward, an educational nonprofit where history meets the future.
Thank you. So just to follow up on the video, we are also working with Jeff Brantley over at the Broyhill Center to try and schedule 1776 to come to Caldwell County in the near future.
Great.
And hopefully we will have that here before the end of this school year. So, are there any questions?
Any questions from anyone? How many, tell us, and I know you've told me this before, how many we have that are already done across not only North Carolina, but now you're going across the nation, actually.
Yes, we have 19 that are fully built and dedicated so far. Most of those are in North Carolina, but we currently have 33 more in the works or on the books for this year. And just some areas around here, along with Caldwell County. We have them going in Madison, Mitchell, McDowell, Catawba, Polk, and Rutherford, and then moving further east throughout the state after that. Our other settings are as far as Carson City, Nevada. We have some in South Dakota, Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky. And we're working on some in Texas for the spring of next year.
The very first one was in Morganton, I
The very
understand.
first one was in Morganton. Yeah,
Yes.
it sure was. That is where our founders, Mary Jo and Vance Patterson, live.
Actually, I've been there. It's a beautiful setting there on the old courthouse downtown. So it's, if you haven't been there to see it, you want to see it, please make a trip over to, you're in Morganton, stop over to see that. Cause it, yeah, that's right. You want to see it beforehand, but
Absolutely.
a few months. And I know we've talked about maybe by sometime in July, talk about doing some kind of a dedication, we hope.
Absolutely. Once the settings are completed, then we work with the city and the county to schedule a dedication ceremony, ribbon cutting, and various other events. Some towns schedule them during their July 4th ceremony or their Labor Day ceremony. But we've had a really good idea to possibly incorporate it somewhere around the Blackberry Festival. So let's make sure that we get it built first, and once that
That's
is,
important,
once
yeah.
that's almost done and we know it's going to be complete in a matter of days, then we'll start working on the scheduling of all the festivities.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
All right. Any
Thank
other
you, Michael,
questions?
for
All right.
being with us and for doing this around not only North Carolina, but around the country. It's a wonderful thing.
Thank you. It is my pleasure. I'm humbled and honored to be a part of it.
We're looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will move on. We do not have any matters scheduled for public hearing tonight, so we'll move to our consent agenda items, consisting of minutes from our city council meeting of Tuesday, April 2nd, 2019. We have minutes of our committee of the whole meeting of Tuesday, March 26th, 2019. And then item C is the proclamation for National Lineman Day presented tonight for the approval of the April 18th as National Lineman Day throughout the city of Lenoir and Caldwell County in recognition of the staff of Blue Ridge Energy and Duke Energy. So I'll open that up to any discussion and or motion for our consent agenda items.
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Mayor Pro Tem Willis makes a motion to approve the consent agenda items A, B, and C as presented. If no other discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Carries unanimously. That would be 6-0 tonight. 5.
I don't count,
I know.
and I didn't vote.
I know, I looked at you. You didn't move your mouth. But Mr. Stevens is not here tonight. Probably getting a well-deserved rest from April 15th yesterday. I know he's had a long, long time. Anyway, we'll move on to any requests or petitions of any citizens. Anyone who would like to address the council tonight, this is the time to do so. And seeing no one, we do not have reports from our boards and commissions this evening, so we'll move on to our report and recommendations of the city manager, Mr. Hildebrand.
Mr. Mayor, council have quite a few items to go back for your information tonight. The first one is the annual Caldwell's hiring event will be held this Thursday from 8:30 a.m. to noon at the J.E. Broyhill Civic Center. City offices will be closed on Friday, Friday, April 19th in observance of Good Friday. The annual Bootlegger 100 bike race will be held on Saturday, April 20th, beginning at 8 a.m. in downtown Lenoir. The annual Easter egg hunt will be held on Saturday, April 20th, beginning at 10 a.m. That's at Mulberry Rec Center. The planning board will meet on Monday, April 22nd at 5:30 p.m. The committee of the whole will meet on Tuesday, April 23rd, 8:30 a.m., third floor City Hall. The Foothills Regional Airport Authority will meet on Wednesday, April 24th at noon at the airport. The Lenoir Tourism Development Authority will meet on Thursday, April 25th at 10 a.m., third floor City Hall. The North Carolina Gravity Games, sponsored by Google, which was postponed this past weekend, will be now held on Saturday, April 27th, 9:30 to 3 o'clock in downtown. And the mayor's prayer breakfast, you want to do that since it's
Yeah, the prayer breakfast will be held on Thursday, May 2nd, at the Lenore Presbyterian Church, 1002 Kirkwood Street. Tickets are $10. That covers the cost of the breakfast. And they're available at City Hall, or I have some, and I'm sure some of the others do, if you'd like to do that. Our guest speaker is Mr. Doug Gillen, who's Director of Athletics at Appalachian State University. I'm very pleased for Doug to be coming. We had tried it one other time, and he couldn't come, so I'm glad that he's able to come. A lot is going on with our neighboring university up on the hill, and I'm sure you'll be talking about that, and then partnerships that exist between Appalachian and our community college, and a lot of good things going on part of that. So we hope you will come. And we'll have our ministers there to pray for our local and state and national leaders and our nonprofits who do so much into our city and county. So we always appreciate that service, and hope that you'll be able to come out and enjoy a morning it's the National Day of Prayer on May the 2nd.
Next, we have two items tonight for your action. The first one is a resolution authorizing the land exchange, and that's at 512 Main Street. As you remember, last meeting, we talked about that recently Joel Kincaid and Stephen Hickle had property surveyed. They were combining two adjacent lots, and upon that survey, they discovered that a small portion of the city sidewalk encroaches on their property at J.E. Broyhill Park. So as a resolution of this, Mr. Kincaid proposed exchanging two corners of property, and both those are .01 acres of land. Both are the same size, same value, and would further public purpose in maintaining our city sidewalk where it's located. We did the advertisement, the 10 days that were required, and that was on April 5th, I believe. And so pursuant to NCGS 168-271, council's now in a position to go back and authorize a resolution to make that a change.
Okay? I think his name is Seth Hickle.
Did I say Seth?
No, you said Stephen. That's what it said.
Okay,
I think it is Seth,
Maybe
but
that's
anyway.
okay.
So you've heard the land exchange resolution presented. Any discussion on that particular item? Guess we need a motion to.
Yep,
we
I'll
do
make a
that.
motion that we approve this land exchange as it has been presented.
Councilmember Purdue makes a motion to accept the land exchange as presented for 512 Main Street Northwest. If no other discussion, we'll call for the question. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Carries unanimously.
The next item you have tonight is bids for playground equipment at Optimus Park, part of our Park and Recreation Trust Fund grant. The low bid for that was Bars Recreation for $45,809.84, and staff recommends you approve that to the lowest bidder. And that, again, Optimus Park. And Mr. Story's back there if you have questions about any of it.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation for the bid award for the playground equipment at the Optimus Park, and it's recommended to approve for $45,809.84 to Bars Recreation for playground equipment at the park. Any discussion on that? Questions? Motions?
Make a motion to approve the bid award for playground equipment for the Optimus Park as presented.
Motion from Councilmember Thomas to approve the bid award as presented for the amount of money into that recreation company. Any other questions? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Back up just 1 second, Mr. Unruh. We forgot to mention one thing about that, about the pavers there. We just want to throw that out. I know people might be interested. There is going to be a plat area where pavers can be put down, and if you're interested in purchasing one of those, you can for that with your name that you might like to be a part of this historic project, and so those will be available. I just wanted to, we meant to mention that and forgot it, I know, earlier.
Thank you very much. If everyone wants to maybe write this website down, it is cof.education. That would be COF for Charters of Freedom. But cof.education, you can go onto that website and download the form to purchase a legacy paver, which will be part of the setting. And since you bring that up, and thank you for doing so, everyone who donates, whether they purchase a legacy paver or they donate materials, labor, anything toward this project, their name will go in a time capsule that is going to be placed inside of the setting. And in 2087, which will be the 300th anniversary of the signing of the Constitution, hopefully, maybe some of us may be around, but most likely our descendants will be able to open that time capsule and read our names on there and have something to be very proud of, that their ancestors and other members of this community made this project happen. So thank you again for mentioning that.
Good.
That's all right.
Might be somebody there, we never know.
We won't.
Okay, thank you, Michael, I appreciate that. I'm sorry we didn't think about that at the start, but I thought that was worth mentioning. Some people might really want to do that. I know I'm very interested in being a part of that, the paver program, so. Yes. Any report from our city attorney, Mr. Rohr?
No, nothing, sir.
Yes, sir.
I don't talk good.
Yes, sir.
That's your livelihood.
Nothing, no, sir.
Okay, thank you. I do have a list of board reappointments just to read to you tonight, or let's mention to you tonight. These names we will place on our May 7th agenda for your consideration for approval. But for reappointments, and I have talked with all of these, everyone are serving well on these boards, attending the meetings, doing their job, and we appreciate their service to these prospective boards. And would like to continue their service on these. For the Lenore Business Advisory Board, be Dana Clark, Dr. Dana Clark, Dr. Byron Grayson, Mr. John Moore, Mr. Gray Shear, and Mrs. Glenda Wilson. And on our planning board, Mrs. Leah Hamilton, who serves on our planning board, and I think our Board of Adjustments as well. So we appreciate the jobs all of those are doing, and we will bring those back to you. Just want to give them to you for consideration, and we'll bring them back at our May 7th meeting for hopefully approval for those. So anything from our council members that need to, yes, sir.
Real quick, Caldwell's hiring is tomorrow, April 17th, not the 18th. So that, the April 17th, Wednesday, because you made me double check, Mr. Manager. Yeah, it's tomorrow. So so it's there, over 2,000 jobs, 50 plus employers. So from 8:30 to noon.
Good.
Tomorrow, Wednesday, April 17th.
Okay. Any other council members have anything going on? If not, we stand adjourned.